Are live on LinkedIn. Really very super excited to be here with you today. Looking forward to having a little bit of a Q&A, a little question and answer session with you today. And so we're going to get started here and go ahead and share this live stream. Want to get as many people on here as possible. Going to talk about paperless operations today. So if you want to have some of your questions answered about paperless operations, jump on paperless operations in the aviation industry. All right. And, share this feed and invite some of your friends to join on. We're going to get going in just a minute and we're going to have a discussion. I'm going to answer some of your questions about paperless operations. I see I have people already joining, and we have a comment window that's open here. Hey, I got Vladimir joining. Hey, welcome, Vladimir. Glad to have you on board. I'm going to do some question and answer here today about paperless operations. The number's getting bigger. Want you guys to share this stream. I want as many people to be able to see this live broadcast as possible. But hey, we're reaching out to people in the airline industry and the aviation industry. Hey, if you're an OEM or if you're an MRO or if you're a parts distributor or a software provider, I'm going to have a Q&A session here today about digital transformation and about paperless operations and a bunch of different things. We had some really great sessions yesterday where people were asking questions. I got Meher, who's joined us, 787. Royal Jordanian. Welcome, Royal Jordanian. I'm glad to have you online. Hey, I've had some good interactions with people in the Middle East, and I've been to Jordan, and I'm really glad to have you online. We're going to do a little question and answer session here today. So if you would help me out, share this stream so that other people know that we are online and we get a good number of people here to be able to answer some questions. Hey, let me just start out and tell you a little bit about myself. I see there's some people online who know me and some people that don't maybe necessarily know me. But, I've been in the aviation industry for a long time. And, my passion for aviation started when I was young. And I started learning how to fly actually when I was 15 years old. And I had my student pilot license by the time I was 15 and a half years old. I was actually flying an airplane before I could drive a car, which really started, a lot of my background in aviation. And then I went on to get an A&P license and worked on airplanes and an engineering degree and got into business. And so, but I wanted to share a little something, with you about myself as we're kind of getting started. So, hey, remember, this is a session where we're going to answer questions about digital and about digital transformation in the aviation industry. So submit your questions here in the comment box and we'll be answering your questions. And also, if you'd help me out by sharing this feed on LinkedIn, I would really appreciate it, because then we'll be able to get more people involved in answering some questions. But hey, I told you I was in the industry, and I actually went to work for a manufacturer, and I was involved in deploying of digital technology for the manufacturer. But hey, let me just tell you a little bit about my background. Is that when I got into college and it was when there wasn't a lot of digital yet in the industry. And, I really kind of hate to admit this, but I'm really all about digital and digital transformation. But I had one digital class in college, and I had some things that were going on in my life, and I wasn't doing very good as I was graduating. I actually had a straight A average in college, but some things were kind of falling apart on me, and I failed my only computer class in college. I had one computer class and I failed it. And so it was really super embarrassing that had happened to me. All right. And I went on to work for McDonnell Douglas, and I was doing some implementation of manufacturing technology. And I started implementing of production control kind of technologies, software technologies, and learning about the application of new software in manufacturing. And it was a great foundation where I began to learn my capabilities in applying of digital to things like production scheduling. And then I left and I went to work at an airline at Northwest Airlines, and I took on things like technical publications and engineering and the development of task cards. And I managed maintenance training when I was there at that time. But I want to share a little story with you is that there was a place and time in my life where I was working at the airline, and it was super, super hard because there was so much work to do. We could not even, get all of our work done. There was so many things to do. There was service bulletins that were coming at us so fast, and the backlogs were building up, and there just was too much work really to do. And so I knew that we needed to apply digital technology in that situation, but I struggled because everything we tried was a problem. All right, we went out and acquired a bunch of hardware and software, and the manufacturer actually went out of business. And so it seemed like every direction that we turned, that it was a struggle, and we just couldn't get there. And I joined some of the industry standards groups like the ATA, and it was helping them to develop standards in this industry, and was all part of the development of this digital data, that we had coming in the aviation industry. But it was hard. It was a struggle. It was a difficult time. And I got to a place in time in my life where I just didn't know how I was going to be able to make an impact, working at the airline or at the manufacturer, in doing this. And hey, I see we have more people that have joined online. If you would help me out and share this stream, we'll get more people. So just down below, just go ahead and hit share, and we'll get more people online here. And go ahead and ask some questions here into the comment field, and we'll address them, directly online. And then there came a point in time in my life where I was working at the airline, and I had this tremendous opportunity. I had actually, it was Jeppesen Sanderson at the time, Jeppesen. They reached out to me and they asked me to join their team because they wanted to apply their knowledge of aggregating of data and repurposing it. They wanted to apply it to maintenance. All right. And so there was this opportunity where I had an opportunity to go lead a business unit where we were going to be taking digital data and making it available to the industry. But there were still struggles and still challenges really that existed there. And so, I was going through the motions and going through the steps of implementation of digital data, but it was just a struggle. It was just hard. There were so many things that got in our way. There was no good standards. There was no good data. There was no good software. There was no good hardware and infrastructure. And all these things were preventing me, really from creating success, these activities. And so it was really quite discouraging because I just couldn't get where I wanted to go. All right. And then we found over the years, to where we are right now, that all of these things started to come into line, and it now became possible for us to be able to do this. And so listen, this is what you need to know. If you have struggled in doing this yourself, if you've struggled in the implementation of digital data in your business, in your airline, or in your MRO, or your software business, things have changed now. And we are in a place now where if you're not implementing of digital data, the people all around you are actually doing this. Hey, how's it going? Ziri, and we have Maria. Thanks for joining online. Glad to see you there. Keep sharing off this stream. We're going to get to some Q&A here in a minute. I see we got some more people joining. And it got to a place where we actually were able to start to be able to implement digital data. Is that data standards came into place, and data started to become available from manufacturers, and software was now being developed, and software was available to us, and then hardware platforms were becoming available, and those were available to us, and then mobile technology now became available at an affordable price. And one of the things that really got in the way that was preventing people from moving forward was really regulatory acceptance. And most recently, within the last year, those things have all turned around. And now we really have regulators which are not just accepting of regulatory, not just accepting digital data and electronic signatures, but actually asking for it. And it's just a matter of working with the regulators to be able to get their agreement on what it is that we're doing from a regulatory standpoint. And I see we have Ziri there. Thanks. Alexander. All right. Yeah, great. So great. Thanks for joining. All right. And if you got some questions, throw them into the comment box here, and we'll address the questions as we go forward here. But really, the message I'm trying to tell you right now is that listen, yeah, I've implemented systems at like 200 different MROs and airlines. All right. But the reason I'm here is because I have an absolute passion right now for helping companies within the industry to be successful in the implementation of digital. All right. And so we now have the ability to be able to do some live streams and to be able to do live question and answers here with people. And the main goal is to be able to get information out, number one, and to be able to connect you with other people that you would be able to accelerate your efforts in the implementation of digital. Listen, we want aviation. We want aviation to be efficient and to be effective and to be cost effective. And we want people to be able to be implementing within the industry. And so we want to be able to share, and we want to be able to help each other. And we're looking for people to be able to help one another, to be able to move forward in the implementation of digital. All right. And so we're building this community of people, industry experts, all right, so that people can reach out to one another and that we can help each other in the moving forward of digital within the industry. All right. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to help connect people. And so if you are interested in connecting with people, you can message me. And I have a lot of resources and knowledge on what people have different applications or what kind of capabilities exist. And you have the ability to be able to leverage the expertise that's in the industry to be able to help you to move forward faster. Listen, I've been in the industry for many years, and you have two different paths. All right, you can struggle, you can move forward slowly, and you can learn on your own, or you can learn to leverage the people around you and use the mentoring of people around you, and to be able to learn how to be able to implement digital technology faster by using the knowledge of people around you. Right. So, like I said, is that around us, all the factors have really come together that enable us to technologically to be able to move forward with digital, right? But it's not just about technology, all right? It's about our businesses, all right? So think about this for a minute. Is that every one of you that are online right now, you have a business and you have a function that you're intending to perform, all right? And you have processes, you have things that you do in the business that create success for your business, all right? You create profitability. MRO Europe is going on right now, and I know that it's in the evening, and so I'm hoping that some of you that are at MRO Europe are joining us and are joining onto the stream right now. And you're there because you're wanting to make connections, you're wanting to learn more, you're wanting to create business. All right. Well, another really great way to be able to create connections and to create business is to do it online, is to do it through venues like this, is to be able to connect with people online. And it's one of the ways that we learn a lot, and we're able to absorb knowledge from the industry and to be able to move forward faster than what we have before. All right. But so, like I said, people all around you are now implementing digital, and it starts with your business. All right. It starts with developing a vision or developing a focus for where it is that you want to go. And what is it you're trying to accomplish in your business? What are you trying to accomplish? Right. And then what are the key performance indicators that you're measuring yourself against in order to determine whether your business is moving forward or not. All right. So that's where it really starts from. And if you look at the major elements of success in your business, and if you look at technology that's out there and how you can use that technology to be able to leverage the success of your business, this is really what digital transformation is all about. All right. Digital transformation is all about us looking at our business and what are we trying to accomplish? What's our vision for the future? And using technology to be able to leverage that business to be able to create more success. All right. And so basically, in your business, you need to focus on that, and you need to be able to leverage that. All right. You need to be able to leverage technology. Now, let's talk a minute let's talk a little bit about regulatory approval and about regulators. All right. So last night I had a live session, and a lot of my friends down in South America were online, and we were having a discussion about the regulators, and we were having a discussion about what they did to be able to gain approval of the regulators in that region. And they were really very innovative because in the South American region, there's less digital. In Brazil is the area that specifically we were talking about. There's less electronic signature and there's less digital, maybe in some other areas in the world where it's more advanced. And so the regulators were not really highly experienced at understanding what was required in order to be able to implement effective controls around digital transformation. And so they really were very forward thinking, and they put together a set of guidelines and regulations, and they put those out. And the end result is that some of them were good, but some of them were just a little bit too restrictive. And so what the airline did that I was working with is that they established, what their current business processes were. They worked with a vendor in the industry and identified how it was that they were going to be able to control moving from paper processes to electronic processes. And they put together some proposals and some guidelines. And then they went to the regulator and they informed them about what they would like to do. Now, the good news is the regulator was very interested, ANAC, they were very interested in being able to implement digital technology within the region. And so they worked very closely together to be able to develop some guidelines that would work for not only the regulator, but would also work for the airline themselves. And in the end, what they were able to do is they were able to reach a collaboration of solutions that resulted in them having a cost-effective means that provided control and accessibility and efficiency and safety, which was greater than using paper. And the end result was they were highly, highly successful. All right. And so it's very, very important that when you're looking at working with the regulators, that you engage with them early in the process and you inform them on what your business objectives are. And don't just make an assumption that they're not going to agree with what you're doing anymore because they really want digital. Because what they really want is they want to have improved access. They want to have improved control. They want you to be more efficient and be more safe, because that's really what their job is to be able to create an efficient, cost-effective, kind of an environment. Hey, I don't know if you're really aware of this, and I'm hoping that this is an education process for you. But what you really need to understand is that in the summer of this year, I think it was on June 26th. On June 26th of this year, the office of the U.S. President, the Office of the President in the United States of Budget and Management, they issued a memo to the industry, which basically went to all of the federal agencies in the United States. And it told them that they were now being directed to implement electronic records by the end of the year, which is very, very aggressive. And then by the end of 2022, they have to basically have all their records captured and put into the National Archives. And so what this really means is this means that there's a high emphasis with the federal agencies in moving toward digital, all right? And then only a couple of weeks ago on September 6th, the FAA in the United States issued some guidelines for their agencies and identified to them what they were to be doing with respect to electronic record keeping. Now, you might ask yourself, well, what does this mean? Why is this really important? All right. Well, what this really means is that you might have thought that the regulators were not interested in moving forward in digital, but they are highly interested in moving forward in digital. You see, not only do they have to do this internally, they have to put their own processes together, but they're going to start to expect that the people that they work with are in digital as well. So you can imagine what this is going to do. This is going to drive higher engagement with the industry in digital, because the regulators, the FAA, is going to expect that the things that they send and receive is done all electronically, because they don't want to receive things in paper and they don't want to have to convert it, into electronic and store it into their archives. And so you can absolutely expect that this is going to accelerate within the industry. And I'm going to use the word tsunami. There's going to be a huge wave of digital that's coming forward. And so you need to not only look at this from the standpoint of how do we create an effective environment in your own business, which leverages digital, but you're going to have outside external forces which are driving you to do this. All right. So let's take a look at some of the questions that we have. And so I have a question here that says, how is digital transformation getting an effect on inspection and maintenance? All right. So that's really a good question. So let me jump off for a minute here and answer that. Is that I've worked with some companies that have, thanks for asking that question, by the way, is that I've worked with some companies that have implemented digital in the maintenance environment, whether it be at an airline or whether it be at an MRO. And when I talk about this, what I mean by they've implemented digital is they've implemented electronic task cards, they've implemented electronic signature, they've implemented electronic production control. And I know that all of you have struggled with paper in your environment, all right? and paper task cards and the distribution of paper to people. And that becomes a very difficult process because it's not efficient, all right? The scheduling of the work and the assignment of the work and then actually the sign off and the completion of work is actually difficult in a manual process. And so it's a great question to ask is it, how is digital transformation affecting that, all right? And what's happening is that I've worked with some companies, and I see that this question came from the Middle East, is that I actually worked with a company in the Middle East this year in Jordan, and actually worked with them in the implementation of production control and actually the implementation of electronic. And really what it's done for them is it's given them the ability to be able to do production scheduling and their ability to be able to do production work control and to be able to make it a much more efficient environment in being able to manage the work that's going in and out of their facility, all right? And so this digital transformation let me make this clear right now, all right? The introduction of technology was one piece of this, all right? Then what happened is that business processes then are being evaluated to determine how you can effectively use technology to create the most efficient environment possible, right? Because digital transformation is not about implementing technology, all right? Digital transformation is about putting in place business processes and technology, which results in an optimization of your business and the processes that you have to create greater efficiencies. That is digital transformation. And so we use the technology and the implementation as an opportunity to be able to create more efficient business processes, and then they work together with each other to be able to create success. Now, how does that impact inspection? All right, this particular company had mobile devices. And for example, they were now able to use the mobile devices to be able to accelerate inspection and reduce inspection times. And so let's say the mechanic is working on an airplane and he's up in the tail or something, or he's up inside the aircraft and he's done some work, he's ready to sign it off on his electronic task card, and now he needs inspection. Well, with some of the mobile technology that's out there, you now have the ability to be able to call for an inspector, in real time. And then the inspector can maybe have a mobile device or have, something, an iPad or an Android device, and then actually has the ability to be able to respond to that, in real time. I saw inspection times that maybe were sometimes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And the reason for that is because the mechanic had to come off of the airplane, go find the inspector. Maybe they got distracted, they were out running around. And then when they found the inspector, they went back and got on the airplane, did the inspection, and then, closed it out. And that process can add tremendous amount of time. Now, if the mechanic can stay on the airplane, and if he can actually respond in a timely manner, if the inspector can respond to that request for inspection in a timely manner, it can greatly accelerate the process. And there's tremendous amounts of efficiencies that come from the application of mobile technology and mobile communications and electronic signature in the inspection and the maintenance process, all right? So, that was really a very insightful question that you had, there. Thank you for asking that, because if you're considering the implementation of production control and mobile technology and electronic signature in your production environment, you can really make a dramatic difference. Hey, listen, I've worked with companies that have achieved 10% reduction in labor, 12% reduction in labor. I had one company that actually got a 24% reduction in labor, and another that actually was able to achieve a 42% reduction in labor and partially schedule by implementing this kind of technology, all right? And just think about it for a minute. There are so many places that there are inefficiencies that exist in your maintenance process that by application of this technology, you can dramatically change and you can dramatically shorten cycles that exist, all right? And so, if you're looking at this and if you're looking at ways that you can improve this, hey, reach out to me in a message, in a private message on LinkedIn or some other way, and I can help connect you with people that have this kind of technology, and we can begin a dialogue about how you can really create some efficiencies really within your environment. All right. So so let's keep some questions coming in, And I appreciate the dialogue. And let's see. So yeah, you can save a lot of time. So we had a comment here that you can save a lot of time in really doing this. And you're absolutely right, because the time that you can actually save is, the time in actually assignment of cards to people. And the time can be saved in actually signing off of things electronically. And the time can be saved in inspection times. But hey, listen, I want you to think about something here for a minute. There's also a really big component that gets impacted by the application of digital technology here. And think about this, is that what you're actually doing is you're building into the process quality, all right? Now, many, many years ago, I learned that you can have quality assurance and you can have quality control. Now, what's the difference between quality assurance and quality control? Quality assurance is making sure that the processes that you're going through have quality built into them to ensure that it's a successful process, all right? And that you don't have breakdowns or problems in the process, all right? And so quality control is a checking in the process to ensure that you're maintaining your quality standards, all right? Now, if you're building into your digital process quality assurance, what you're doing along the way is you're creating a quality process along the way, all right? And the end result is you'll have less errors and less breakouts in the process. And so if you have a production control process, which does checking along the way, like checking for signatures or checking for skills or making sure that the right person is signing off on the card, then what you're doing is you're preventing problems when it comes time to close out the aircraft. I worked with a company last year that actually had a 72% reduction in closeout errors because they were applying new digital technology in their production control. Hey, think about that. What if it came time to close out cards in your maintenance process, and at the end you didn't have to check all the cards for signatures? What if no cards got to the end without a signature? What if there were no missing cards that existed? What if the proper skills had been applied all along the way, and the proper training and qualifications that people had been applied all along the way? Just think about the tremendous amount of time you're saving, by ensuring that quality is built into the process, and it's not having to be a person at the end that has to check a paper card to ensure that that the right person worked on it, or they had the right qualifications, or that the card was signed, or let's say they had an ETOPS qualification or something like that. And so yeah, thanks for the comment again. I really appreciate that about answering the question, because it absolutely is important. It's extremely important. And so it's really exciting to really see different companies that have applied digital transformation and digital technology. And hey, I wanted to make a comment about another company that I've worked with, just to give you a little quick story. But I worked with a company down in Mexico over the last couple of years, and I really, really respect them. It's an MRO down there, and that MRO, they were an early thinker, an early adopter. I'll just say who it is, because I want to give them a great deal of credit. It's Tech Ops Mexico, down in Querétaro, Mexico, and they really were an early adopter. They said, we are going to implement technology, and we are going to use that. The CEO of the facility is Jess Losada, and really an amazing person. He's really a data-driven person, and I really respect his background and his implementation and his efforts in doing that. And his right-hand man is Juan Lopez, and they were tremendous in their forethought and their implementation of this kind of production control technology. And what they really did is they really completely transformed their business, all right? And one of the things I really like about the people in Mexico is a couple of things. Number one, they have a lot of young workforce that really like technology, and they're very interested and they're very hungry to consume technology. And in Mexico, another really amazing thing is they employ a lot of diversity in the business, all right? They have a lot of women that work on aircraft. They have a lot of men that work on aircraft. And so they have an extremely diverse workforce. And so a lot of brilliant people. What they do is they look for the brilliant people that will engage and will implement. And what I saw them do was I saw them implement technology in their business and be very eager to create success from that business. And they have completely transformed their business. They have scaled and grown dramatically. What they've done is they've practically doubled the size of their business. And the end result is that they only added a small amount of labor in order to be able to double the size of their business, because it all came out of efficiencies, all right? And so many times when we're looking at the cost of implementation, we're looking at what it costs to implement technology. But what you need to really do is you need to look at what the costs are in your operation. You need to look at your operating costs and like, what's the labor, what is the cost to your revenue growth? What is the cost to your ability to be able to expand? And look at, if you implement technology and redo your business processes, how will that affect your ability to grow? Listen, in the last couple of years, I visited so many MROs, and I can't hardly find a large MRO that doesn't need 100 people. All right, they're short of labor. And just think about what you would be able to do in your business if you apply digital transformation, if you apply paperless operations and paperless technology in your business, and you're able to create greater efficiencies. If you need 100 new people, just think about what it would be like if you could, drop that down so that you had a stable workforce and you were able to get the work done that you needed to get done without extra overtime or without hiring outside contract labor. It has a dramatic impact to the bottom line of your operation, creating a tremendous amount of efficiencies. And so it's really super important that you are looking at this, all right? And hey, listen, I see we still have a lot of people online here, and I wanted to ask you if you would, again, think about just sharing this stream and we get some more people online as part of this discussion. And it's really good. I appreciate the feedback and the questions that are coming in. And, I want to be able to help you and answer your questions and, questions specifically about digital transformation. If you have some questions about your operation and maybe software or methods or approaches, go ahead and pop those questions in the comment box, and we'll try to answer them here, in real time. You get some real time information here, right? Hey, listen, I worked as a consultant for many years, right? And people, have paid a lot of money to companies to be able to get consulting expertise in this area, in this space. And this is a good way for you to be able to get, digital questions answered is, doing it online. And so it's really great to be able to have this kind of a forum to be able to do this. And hey, let me add one more thing is, if you want to get into more details, listen, we can't, really show you all of the details of how to do these kind of things. We do webinars on an ongoing basis. And if you want to join one of our webinars, you can go to our URL, webinar.digitalaircraft.org, webinar.digitalaircraft.org, and you can sign up for one of our webinars. The next one we're going to do this week actually is on gaining regulatory approval. And so we're going to focus on what are some helps, some tips in helping you to be able to get regulatory approval, all right? So let me see. We have another question that's come in. It says, by having this kind of technology, they have an amazing image in the market, and it's also kind of marketing, all right? So by having this kind of technology, they have an amazing image in the market. It's also kind of marketing. So there's a number of different ways that we can leverage technology in the market space. And so let me just kind of address that a little bit. The question that's there is, if you're looking at your business, like let's say you're a software business, and if you're wanting to deploy some new technology, right? It's really super important that you understand your customer, right? I've worked with a lot of software companies, and I was just on a phone with a guy this morning, and he said there aren't a lot of people in his business that are actually from the airline industry, and they have software that they're deploying in the industry. And so I want to encourage you that you need to understand your customer's business problem if you want to be able to sell software within the industry, all right? And so I want to encourage you to leverage the knowledge that's out there in the industry. I want to encourage you to reach out to vendors that know the industry. I want to encourage you to reach out to other companies that have done implementations. If you want to know people that have done this, you can reach out to me and I can help connect you with people that have done digital implementations. And so this is something that if you do, that you will be able to do it faster. And all of us are looking for mentors in our life, and either in a business or in personal life. And we're wanting how to learn how to do things better and faster. Listen, that's why we read books, and that's why we go onto YouTube and we look up things on the internet and learn how to do things, because we want to be able to do it more efficiently. And so this is another venue that we can actually do that. We can actually have live question and answers that are occurring in this kind of an environment. And so I encourage you to leverage the knowledge and expertise that's out there in the industry, because you don't have to do all this on your own. And this particular software company that I was talking to this morning, we were having a discussion about some of the factors in the industry that are affecting their software, and I was connecting them with other people and helping them understand some of the regulations. And it's by the dialogue that we have that they can actually move forward faster and help people in the industry better, by leveraging the knowledge that's out there in the industry. All right. And so that's really something that you need to look at doing, is that leverage the people that are out there in the industry from a good way. All right. Be a contributor, contribute. All right. We have different channels that exist out there. We have a LinkedIn page, which is DigitalAircraft. You can go there, follow the LinkedIn page. You can reach out on LinkedIn and get in touch with me, and I can help you to be able to understand, some of these things. We have a Twitter, which is DigitalAircraft. We have a YouTube channel, which is DigitalAircraft, a Facebook page, an open Facebook page, which is Aviation Professionals for Digital-Aircraft, but it's Facebook /DigitalAircraft. And these are all different resources that you can leverage to be able to learn. All right. And so I encourage you to leverage the resources that are out there and to learn, because if you want to be successful in the implementation of digital technology, but it's not about being successful in the implementation of digital technology. What it is it's how do you make better success in your business? All right. How do you create efficiencies in your business? How do we lower cost? How do we get airplanes out faster? How do we have a safer operation? How do we create better, customer satisfaction? Well, we can do that through improving our business processes and leveraging technology to be able to make those things better. All right. Now, listen, just in the last couple of weeks, there's companies that have gone out of business. All right. We have Thomas Cook, which has gone out of business. We have companies, airlines like WOW and Air Berlin and Monarch and, others over the last couple of years, Jet Airways. All of them have experienced, financial difficulties and have gone out of business. And if you look at retail out there, companies like Forever 21 and Toys R Us and other companies in the U.S. Have gone out of business or have filed for bankruptcy because they have failed to transform their businesses and keep up with the times. And so you need to be examining your business, and you need to move faster, all right? Because if you don't move faster in the implementation of digital technology, you will become a casualty of the industry, all right? Is that MROs typically have really, really narrow margins. I mean, sometimes 3 and 4% margins. And so you have very little room for error, in your business, all right? And so what we really need to do is we need to create additional efficiencies in our business, and implementation of digital is really, one way to do that. And so let me give you just some quick thoughts is that, you need to believe in what you're doing. All right. Look around you. Is that people all around you are implementing digital. You can do this. You can implement digital. All right. There are people around to help you and to support you. Don't try to do this on your own. Leverage the people around you to be able to help bring together people in the implementation of digital. All right. Next is that people. Look at the people in your organization. Who's there that can help you in the implementation of digital? All right. Leverage the people around you. Reach out to industry groups around you, and people will help you out there. Reach out to vendors around you with different softwares, and people will help you and help you understand how to do this and create success. Listen, if you're early in your journey, do more of that. All right. If you're later in your journey, if you really have an advanced organization, reach out to people as well, because people want to get engaged. Maybe you're looking at data and analytics. The gentleman I was talking to this morning, they have a data and analytics platform, which is helping create very sophisticated answers, information from data on our new aircraft. All right. And it's really very exciting to see how we're able to get better information and better answers from those data and analytics platforms. And so that's another area that you can really create significant efficiencies is through that. All right. And then, so reach out to people in your industry. All right. Next, it's processes. You need to be looking at your processes. Listen, if you're going to implement technology just for the sake of implementing technology, you are not going to be successful, because your technology will maybe give you a small incremental change, but transformation comes from the complete rethinking of your business and applying of new processes and technology to be able to create whole new opportunities in the implementation of digital solutions, all right, and creating whole new spaces for you to have efficiency. I'm talking about operations which have dramatically cut their costs by 20, 30, 40%. And this is possible. There's people around that are doing this. I'm telling you, they are. And you can do this too. So you need to believe. You need to believe. You need to look at people that can help you. You need to look at processes. And then you need to look at technology. If you put those four things together, you will be able to create a successful digital transformation of your organization. All right. If you need help, reach out, message me, and we will work together to try to connect you with people and to be able to try to help you in this journey. But listen, the process in which you're following is the same, whether you're an OEM or whether you're a software company or whether you are a manufacturer or if you're an airline or an MRO. The process of doing digital transformation is the same. You're going through the same ideas and working with people, process, and technology. All right. It's just the journey you're on. All right. The journey is different for everybody. Everybody has a slightly different journey. Everybody comes at it from a different perspective. Hey, think about this. You might be looking at something from one angle, and somebody else might be looking at it from another angle, and then somebody else might be looking at it from another angle. It's still the same process. It's still the same journey. I mean, it's still the same process. It's just that the perspective you have and the journey you're on is a little bit different. All right. And so you have different systems in place in your IT portfolio. You have different business outcomes and objectives. And so you're on a slightly different journey than what other people are. All right. Only the process of moving through that journey is really the same. It's one step forward at a time. Create a vision for the future. Identify what are the major pieces, what are the major items which are going to give you return on investment. Focus on those. Figure out how you can leverage people around you. Look at your processes. Apply technology to what it is you're doing and repeat over and over again. All right. And you will begin to create a digital transformation within your organization. All right. Hey, you can do this. All right. I believe you can do this. Our industry is so far behind that we all have the opportunity and the ability to be able to create this success. Join in on this movement that's happening right now. The entire world is moving in the direction of digital. Listen, you might think you're behind, but you're not. All right. We're right in the middle of this right now. We're right in the middle of a major transformation within the aviation industry. Take the first step forward. You have the ability to be able to do this. Listen, you can reach out to us. You can join our webinar on Friday, which is webinar.digitalaircraft.org. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. We can connect. We can have a dialogue. We can begin to engage on this journey that you're on. Let's work together to do this. As more people get on board, we create more and more synergy, and it creates more of the ability for all of us to be successful, really, in moving forward. All right. Let's see if we have any other questions. All right. Let's see. I have a question here that says, how many aircraft companies are led by women? I really don't know that for sure. I mean, definitely there needs to be a diversity of people that are engaged in the industry. And what I can really tell you is that my wife actually was one of the first women engineers in the industry many years ago, and she worked for an aircraft manufacturer, and she worked very, very hard to make herself known and successful in that industry. And so I believe there's opportunities for everybody within the industry, and I believe that we all have an opportunity. Regardless of what the diversity is of our situation, we have the opportunity to be able to learn and to be able to be successful and to be able to engage in this conversation of digital transformation. So no matter who you are and what place in the world you're in, and no matter what diversity you are and where you're coming from, I encourage you to engage in this conversation of digital transformation and be part of creating the success really that we're creating. And you can do this. I believe that you can do this. And if we all work together, we can create this kind of success. We really can. And so, hey, listen, keep an eye out for our regular broadcasts. We're going to get on a regular rhythm here soon, where we're going to have a scheduled time where these broadcasts are happening and not just being completely impromptu, because I want you to be able to plan and to be able to join the conversation with us at a time when it really works for you. And so we're going to make this work. And we're going to try to continue to add knowledge into the industry so that people can engage and they can learn more and they can be part of digital transformation. I want to help you, and I want for us together to create success really within the industry. All right. And so I want to thank you for jumping on this live broadcast today. And tomorrow we're going to have a live broadcast, and you're going to want to join it a little bit earlier than this, about maybe 2 hours earlier than this tomorrow. And we're going to have a live broadcast from the museum of flight at Boeing, is where we're going at Boeing Field tomorrow. And so it's going to be pretty exciting, and so it'll be a great thing to be around airplanes and to be able to do your question and answers. And so if you want to share with some of your friends that we're going to have that live broadcast, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what time it is because it hasn't been completely finalized, but it'll be right about between 10 and 11 o'clock tomorrow on Thursday, 10 and 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. So you'll want to join us in that live broadcast from the museum. I'm very excited about being able to do that. And I'm looking forward to you submitting questions and being part of our discussion that we have tomorrow. So I like to close all of my live broadcasts out with a nautical, phrase from history, which is fair winds and following seas to you. And I'll just one more time explain that to you, because I want you to know why I like that phrase is that the old time sailors used to tell each other fair winds and following seas, because they were wishing upon them great success from winds that were going in the direction they wanted to go, and seas which pushed them in the way they wanted to go. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is that you need to leverage the forces around you. Listen, if the federal industry is pushing on digital right now, hey, don't push back on it. Leverage that. Use that as an opportunity to be able to push your business forward, right? Look for opportunities around you that'll push you in the direction you want to go. Don't try to fight the winds, because you will just fight the winds. You will just battle things if you try to fight change. Embrace change, embrace transformation, embrace digital, and move forward, and allow the things that are happening around you to help you to move forward, all right? Accept the help from people around you. Accept the knowledge and mentoring from those around you. If the world is looking to change to digital, embrace it and use that as a reason for your company to be able to move forward and create new successes. You will find that implementation of digital and paperless operations and digital technology in your business will significantly create new opportunities for success in your business, all right? So again, one more time, I'll close out by saying, fair winds and following seas to you, and have a great day. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.